Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you out to the council chambers this evening. Our regular council meeting will begin in just a moment, and we invite you to silence or turn off your cell phones or other electronic devices, if you would. Prior to the council meeting that will be conducted by Council Member Hales, we need to meet as a committee of the whole. So I'll call that meeting to order now and consider approval of the minutes from February 16th, 2016. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? I will note that there was a correction that I already made.
There was also a clarification that I added.
Okay, it was, thank you. I don't know if I need to, do I need to say that on the record, what the correction was, Frank?
So you generally know what it made reference to?
Anyway, it was
Of the minutes of the Committee of the Whole for February 16th, 2016, with the changes as noted.
a motion by Mr.
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Hales. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. And we will adjourn then as the Committee of the Whole.
Welcome to our council meeting. Those are the kind of meetings I like. We welcome everyone here, and I have asked, let's do the pledge. Carl DeFosse, if Carl would come up to the mic here, and Carl's a great resident of our city and attends a lot of our meetings, and I asked if he would lead us in our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Carl. Appreciate you doing that. Next, we have approval of minutes for our council meeting, March 1st, 2016. Are there any questions on that? If not, can we get a motion?
I would move approval.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, then next we have our special recognition, Murray City Council Employee of the Month for March 2016, Ben Turan. He is our senior GIS analyst. And Ben, I'm going to meet you and Tim over at the mic. We'd like to, as a council, we started this quite a few years ago. It seems like it was just a couple, and I think it was probably 3 years ago we started this, where we started doing an Employee of the Month. And Ben, Tim has chosen you for our city, or our Employee of the Month, and he will go ahead and present this, but the council would like to give you a certificate here. And also, this is what Tim was saying, and then more importantly, we got a $50, is that right, $50? Visa gift card. Great. I guess that's for your wife, $50 here. All right. So, but as a council, we'd like to say thanks to you, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, Tim, come on up.
Okay. There's a lot I could say about Ben as an employee for Murray City. He has been here just for about 3.5 years, and it's amazing all of the things that he has accomplished in that 3.5 year period. I don't read through the list, but Council, you received a list of all the things that he has been involved with to enhance the capacity and capabilities of our employees to be more effective and more efficient in their work. With the GIS system, Geographic Information System, that he works with, as well as a variety of other elements, he provides the data and all the information to, as I said, enhance the way people do their work. Here's some examples of things that he's been involved with and implemented. A city base map web application for the intranet, Murray Power Intranet website, Power and Forestry online service order reporting system, power outage call online reporting system, forestry maintenance, record database, executive dashboard, street signs reflectability study, graffiti removal reporting, cemetery data collection, cemetery search, which was a huge project that he undertook, the Murray City Arboretum website. Those are just some of the things that he's been involved with. Our GIS division, we have 4 staff in that area. They are all wonderful. Janie is his supervisor. She has been ill today, so couldn't be here, but they deserve a lot of credit for all that they do. So finally, last thing I just want to say about Ben. These are things that describe Ben from my perspective. He is exceptionally creative. He has a can-do attitude in his work. He's bright, he's talented, and exceptionally talented in what he does. He puts forth effort. He finds solutions for problems, which is amazing, the way he does that. He's willing to learn, and he always takes on more than is expected of him. And so this recognition is very, very well deserved, and we appreciate his efforts, and he is one of the great assets as far as employees that we have here in Murray City.
No pressure. Thank you, Tim and council. I appreciate this recognition. It means a lot. And I'm from Murray, grown up here. My family is from Murray. And just introduce my family. My wife is over here in the back, Alicia. And I have 3 kids. Madison is the oldest, and Bradley and Jenna. And then my parents are here, Brian and Diana. And like I said, I grew up in Murray. Started working here about 3.5 years ago, and it's great to work for the community that I live in as well. And so appreciate that opportunity and enjoy what I do, and just thank you for that. So
Thank you. Now, we know Tim is tall, but he looks short compared to you, so I can't believe it. Wow, you must be 6'7", Ben. Thanks, Ben. We appreciate it, and thanks to your family for coming out. And you don't have to stay, but you're welcome to stay, whatever. So you guys decide. But look how fast those kids got up. I know, dinner, huh? But we appreciate it. Ben is awesome, and lots of humility, and we appreciate all that he's done.
Boy, we sure do. Thank you, Ben. We really do appreciate what you do for us.
Okay. Thanks, guys, for coming. We appreciate it. All right, next we have consider a joint resolution of the Mayor and Municipal Council of Murray City, Utah in support of the Murray Exchange Club by recognizing and declaring April 2016 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Mayor Iyer presenting.
Thank you, Council. This is a joint resolution of the Mayor and the Municipal Council of the Murray City, Utah, and in support of Murray Exchange Club by recognizing and declaring April 2016 as a Child Abuse Prevention Month. Murray's greatest assets is our children. All children deserve a right to grow up in a safe and nurturing environment to assure they reach their full potential. Whereas child abuse is a serious and growing problem affecting more than 3 million people in our nation annually, with approximately 19,000 cases of child abuse and neglect reported statewide, with over 3,725 cases in Salt Lake City Valley and 234 cases right here in our city. And whereas this societal malignancy called child abuse respects no racial, religious, socioeconomic, or geographic boundaries, and in fact has been declared a national emergency. And whereas the National Exchange Club has adopted this cause as its national project and the Child Abuse Prevention Flag as the representation of their commitment to this project, and whereas the Murray Exchange Club, through its national association, is supporting parent aid programs, parenting classes, educational programs, and community service activities, and is helping to make significant progress in stopping this crime against families and children. And whereas the Murray Exchange Club members are active and positive participants in the City of Murray in accordance with the standards of the National Exchange Club, and whereas the Murray Exchange Club is anxious and appreciative to share this worthwhile cause and opportunity with the City of Murray, Now therefore, as mayor and the Murray City Council, we hereby resolve to recognize and declare April 2016 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Be it further resolved that we commend the Murray Exchange Club for their continued efforts in helping families break free from this vicious cycle of child abuse. Murray, Salt Lake City County, and our nation's greatest asset are our children. All children deserve to grow up in a safe and nurturing environment to assure that they reach their full potential. I present this to you for your consideration and approval.
Any questions for the mayor?
No, but I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the joint resolution of the mayor and municipal council of Murray City in support of the Murray Exchange Club by recognizing and declaring April 2016 as Child Abuse Prevention Month.
I'll second.
Jennifer?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can
Go ahead.
I-
Yes, please.
Can I add something? I just want to say how much we appreciate the Murray Exchange Group for being part of Murray, and you guys do such good work, and thanks for being here. Anyway, we really do appreciate you. You're awesome.
I would like to echo that as well. Thank you for bringing this resolution tonight, as well as for all that you do, not just in this, but everything, all the activities you're involved in. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Also, I'd like to note on the resolution was lengthy. We edited it a little bit. But on Monday, April 4th at 6:30 p.m., that'll be the official kickoff. They'll be tying ribbons and putting up pinwheels, also for prevention of child abuse, and anybody who would like to come and help with that is more than welcome.
Thank you, Jim. Why don't you bring that up here and put it up there? You want to take a shot of it up here? No, please. Are you kidding? No, I saw that. Did someone make that?
This is the flag that's been flying for the last 4 years. And we just had it repaired because it was getting another time.
Oh, that's great.
So,
Yeah, please.
thank you very much.
Of course. Jennifer, you should be up there. Hey, thank you. Yeah, her husband is. Thank you. We really appreciate that. And as Diane said, we see your faces on a lot of the committees too. So thank you very much. We appreciate you being here on this important matter. Okay, next we have our citizen comments. They're limited to 3 minutes for anyone to get up and address an issue. We will have one public hearing that will be specific. Don't get up if you're here for the public hearing, but for anything else, if you have anything, this will be the time to come to the mic. Seeing none, we'll close that part of the agenda, and there is no consent agenda. So next will be our only public hearing for the night. Consider an ordinance relating to land use that amends the general plan from residential single-family low density to residential multifamily medium density, and amends the zoning map from R-110 to R-M-15 for the property located approximately at 6687 South, 1300 West, Murray City, Utah. Tim Tingey presenting. Thanks, Tim.
Council, this item went to the Planning Commission as part of the process. There were multiple meetings because there were some issues of concern in previous meetings. The last meeting that they had regarding this matter was February 18th, and they forwarded a recommendation to you, which I'll talk about in just a minute. As has been mentioned, the general plan, this would be a change in the general plan. This area is originally projected to be a single-family low density. However, there are parcels to the east and to the north which are already zoned RM15, which is what is being proposed tonight for this property. And there is flexibility in the general plan to look at modifications to that when there's things that warrant that. We feel on this occasion that it does, as been stated. One of the big issues of concern, and the reason why it went to multiple meetings of the Planning Commission, is there was concerns about the capacity to get water, both for culinary use and primarily the issue is for fire flow and fire protection. And so after a number of meetings and work by city staff as well as Mike Brodsky, the developer, Taylorsville Binion Improvement District representatives have indicated that they can serve and provide that capacity for this project that is moving forward. So with that addition to this, the Planning Commission recommended approval of that. Let me just state what the changes are in the zoning if this is rezoned tonight and the general plan is changed. It would go from low density single family, which in that type of area you'd have lots with 10,000 square foot lots, just single family is allowed. With this, this change to RM15, it's medium density residential, which would go from what I just mentioned to single family is allowed in this area on 8,000 square foot lots, as well as multiple family dwellings. You can have in this area 3 to 4 dwelling units, and then go above that to more than that, up to 15 per acre. And that includes multifamily dwellings. Those are the types of uses that can be looked at for this area. So based on all of the information that's submitted, the recommendation by the Planning Commission staff, myself is recommending approval of this. We think this is a good change to the general plan, our zoning ordinance. We feel it will help facilitate redevelopment of this site, which is needed at this time. And we're recommending approval. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Tingey?
If I may, I'm somewhat familiar with this location. It's in my district. Don't we have a lot of low density over there now, do we not?
Yeah, there's low density, but there's medium density as well.
Medium density as well.
Which allows for more units per acre. And like I say, to the north and to the east, there are two fairly significant areas and a number of projects that have that medium density.
This would be adjacent to what we have there now?
This would be adjacent to the east of one of the projects that's multifamily, or in the M1 or 215 area.
I got it.
And then also north of Winchester, there's another project that has the same designation.
Yeah, they've done a nice job on the existing development. I was impressed with the structures and the quality of the development. So, is this the same developer?
Same developer to the property to the east of this site.
Right.
I don't believe you developed the one to the north. Just the one to the east.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Tingey? Okay, thanks, Tim. Do we need to have the developer come up now, or do we want to just go forward? Do we just want to go forward and have, let's go forward with the public comments, and then we'll, if we need to have you come up. So now we'll open that up for public comments. If there's no one here for this matter, you'd come to the mic 3 minutes, and we'll open that up now. And then after, you come on up, and we'll get you to fill out a form when you get an opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My name is Ray Nielsen. I live on Tripview, which is just the little cutout on 13th West and off of Winchester. I guess I need some more definition as to why we're going to go with a higher density population on that corner. Because every morning at 7:30, I can eat breakfast, tie my shoes, shine my car while I'm waiting to get out of my driveway. So I'm wondering why we're looking at more density, more traffic on Winchester and 13th West. I mean, it's a nightmare down there. And if the rub in this was water, it seems to me that a lower density impact would help that situation rather than putting more people into that area in there. So I'm not sure I understand that issue. Also, if it's possible to rezone from a 10 acre spot to an 8 acre spot, why not do that and not develop it with so much impact from a habitat standpoint? So I guess we need to have some discussion about that, because I got to tell you, it's right now on that corner, it's ridiculous. In fact, I'll be straight up. We built our home because we knew the builder over there. Had I known what the impact that the traffic and and what it was like down there on that corner, I wouldn't have built my home there. So it's that, to me, it's that important.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you, you bet. Tim? We'll get you to fill out that form, Jan will run that over there. Is there anybody else that has come for this that would like to speak? Okay, if not, we'll close this part of that. Tim, do you want to get up and did you want to address that? Yeah, thank you, Tim, appreciate that.
So what we're considering tonight is a general plan change and rezone. Any specific project that is evaluated on the site will be looked at a different meeting with Planning Commission approval. Really, we're looking at the densities, we're looking at the types of uses, and as has been said, this area we feel is very appropriate for this use. We feel like even though there might be those issues of concern, hopefully those can be mitigated through a review process. But the types of uses and the density we feel like meet what we're talking about in the general plan and are conducive to the area, primarily because you've got roads that can have larger capacities with the sizes of roads there. So based on that, we feel it's the appropriate use for that site. It has the same type of use to the north and east. And in addition to that, we're not talking about really high density projects. We're still talking fairly low density with the RM15. So this is not a high scale, or not high scale, but high intensity project with what would be proposed or used there. So that's my answer to that.
You have questions for Tim again?
Yes, Tim, as a follow-up to that, I noticed in the packet that that discussion was held with the Planning Commission. In fact, I appreciate the amount, the due diligence that was done by the Planning Commission on this. But they mentioned in there that a traffic study would need to be done for an individual project when it comes. My question is does the property owner have access to Brewski Bay, or would traffic either go out on 13th West or Winchester?
As far as that, like I say, it's not a specific project, but it's likely that it would come out on Winchester or 13th. And the reason I can't say totally we're not talking about a specific project.
Yeah, I understand that.
But for specific projects, we would have to look at the traffic implications of that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Tim? Oh, okay. All right, well, we've heard the discussions. We need to go where we go from here.
Any other public comment?
Yeah, I did that and closed it.
Okay.
But is there anybody else that? Come on up. Sure, this is a developer. Come on up. Sorry, I was going to do that, wasn't I?
Yes, thank you.
Sorry.
Michael Brodsky, 308 East 4500 South, Murray. Mr. Nakamura reminded me that I've been building in Murray for more than 18 years. It's actually 21 years, and it is quite the pleasure for me to be back in front of you again. The community immediately to the east of this is called Bramer Village. We built that about 10 years ago. In the process of building Bramer, we provided some access easements for utilities to the Brewer family immediately to our south. As it turns out, we're going to be using some of the the easements that we provided them in the development of this community. We're buying part of this property from two different families. The Sorrell family, who owns the birdhouse on the corner, is one of them, and the Brewer family, who are over here, is the other family. You asked me about Brewski Bay. Our plan is to improve that to a public road standard. While the rezone we've asked for is an RM15, it's our intention to build this to just under 12 homes to an acre. There will be 23 townhomes and 5 single-family homes here. The single-family homes will all face Brewski Bay, and they create a transition between our new multifamily zone and the existing RM10 zone to the south of this property. A major part of what we will be doing, of course, is cleaning up that corner. The neighborhood that we're planning on developing will be accessed both off of Winchester and off of 1300. The water question, the water pressure and velocity, this property is located at the very top of your system. And as a consequence, the water pressure in the lines serving this area were not adequate for fire flow. They were barely adequate for culinary service. And by entering into an agreement with Taylorville Benyon, we solved that problem so that now you have more than adequate fire flow, but equally important, the water pressure in these homes is more than adequate too to serve the residential development. Nothing could have been built here without that agreement with Taylorville Benyon, because there wasn't enough water pressure to provide service for any kind of residential development. So, I mean, that's one of the challenges that we were able to solve. And by the way, I do want to give some accolades to Doug Hill and his department, because their involvement in helping us meet with Taylorville Benyon was very instrumental in getting your sister city to help us with this and to provide us with the water service. The last thing I want to point out is that the density of 12 that we're proposing to build of 12 to an acre is very consistent with the surrounding neighborhood. We built Bramer to the east. You have another multifamily townhouse community to the north. And then in West Jordan, you have other multifamily communities to the west. So on three sides of this neighborhood right now, or on this piece of property, right now you have multifamily housing. And as I mentioned earlier, we're providing a row of single-family detached homes as a transition into the R110 zone to the south. I'm directionally impaired. I have to think about it. Any comments or questions?
Any questions for Mr. Brodsky? Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. All right. Any discussion amongst the council?
Just a comment. I actually very enthused to see this corner get cleaned up. It's been a mess and for a long time. I know House of Birds is kind of a landmark there, but I'd be happy to see it cleaned up. So I'm in favor of that.
Okay. If there's no more discussion, we need a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the ordinance relating to land use, amending the general plan from R110 to RM15 for the property located at 6687 South 1300 West.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Jennifer?
Ray, I've appreciated your arguments. I'm going to vote no.
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. All right. No unfinished business. We'll go to new business. Consider a resolution approving an interlocal cooperation agreement between the city and the Utah Department of Transportation, UDOT, for new sidewalk construction. Doug Hill presenting. Doug?
For many years, the residents of the Brittany Apartments, and there's some other surrounding apartments along Van Winkle Boulevard, have asked for some kind of sidewalk to along Van Winkle Boulevard to connect to existing sidewalk on 4500 South. And so we wrote a grant this year to UDOT for their sidewalk program and was awarded the grant. And so we have an interlocal agreement that I'm presenting to you tonight to approve. The The total cost of the project is about $190,000. Murray City will be reimbursed for all but about $50,000 of that project. And we do have that money currently budgeted. It's in our budget. And so we're ready to get the design underway. And if you approve the agreement, we'll get it constructed this summer.
Any questions for Mr. Hill?
Can we take some of that money and do something on 6th East?
Well, then this doesn't benefit that neighborhood on 6th East because right now
I'm just having fun with it.
I know you are, but I know that we have had complaints from that neighborhood because people try to cut through the fences from the apartment complexes into the neighborhood, and this will allow them there'll be no incentive for them to do that now if we have this sidewalk in place.
Okay. Any other questions for Doug? Thank you, Doug. Discussion amongst the council?
No, I think it's great. I make a motion we adopt the resolution approving an interlocal cooperation agreement between the city and the Utah Department of Transportation for new sidewalk construction.
I second that motion.
Jennifer?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. Thanks, Jennifer. Next, we have considered an ordinance amending Chapter 13.06 of the Murray City Municipal Code, amending the ordinance related to general impact fee provisions and policy, presented by the one and only Frank Nakamura.
Okay, thank you. First of all, this is not any change to the impact fees. Those are established in other ordinances. Rather, these are just changes to the general rules that govern our impact fee process. When we were working on the power impact fee ordinance, we discovered that there was some terminology and other changes that we may have to make to track the state law. As you know, over the last few years, the state law changes as the legislature makes either terminology or the types of changes to it. And so we just needed to update our general provisions, and that's what you have in front of you. But again, with our impact fees, our consultants have always tracked the state law, and we've been very consistent with that. But just to clarify that, we have made these changes. Most of them are in terms of just terminology. The terminology of the state law changed, so we incorporated that into the ordinance. There are provisions in the old ordinance, that did not apply, did not exist in the new impact fee statute. We have incorporated the appeal processes. There are some reporting requirements that did not exist in our existing ordinance that we had to add. That was incorporated into the state law some years ago. So what our office is trying to do, actually, with not only this, and we'll talk about the other Chapter 1 in a minute, but we're trying to update these ordinances, trying to stay on top of the changes as the legislature meets and as they make changes to the state law, and that's what we're trying to do. It's really difficult to stay up on all of that. But I think the impact fee is one of those kinds of issues that can stir a lot of questions, and so I want to make sure that at least this particular ordinance is up to date. So those are the changes made, and again, not any major substantive changes, just trying to stay up with the state law and its terminology and requirements.
Great. Thank you, Frank. Any questions for Frank?
Just a lot of red on this this ordinance. You've been busy.
Well, again, every year they make changes. Well, I don't know if they did this year. I don't think, but most years they do like to make changes to the impact fee statute. And again, it's an issue, and so we were a little remiss in staying up on it. And noticed that when we were doing the power impact fee, which you passed some weeks ago.
Okay. Any discussion amongst the council, or we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the ordinance amending Chapter 13.06 of the Murray City Municipal Code, amending the ordinance relating to general impact fee provisions and policy.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Jennifer?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thanks, Frank. Consider next item of new business. Consider an ordinance amending Chapter 1.01, 1.04, 1.08, 1.12, and 1.16 of the Murray City Municipal Code, making technical corrections. Frank Nakamura.
Yes, again, that's, our office really wants to go through most of the code, and beginning with Chapter 1. I think one of what we're trying to accomplish is consistency in terms of the terminology and the grammar. So we're going through, we're starting with this one. This is sort of the introduction to our code. And as you can see, they're mainly just some terminology. It doesn't substantively change Chapter 1, but I think we're trying to make it more clear. And again, this is something that we haven't really not dealt with over the years. So we're going to start with Chapter 1. I'll be in here again down the road and bringing in all the other chapters. But I want to go through and make it all consistent, at least from a terminology and a grammar standpoint. And that's what these are. These are very technical changes. I think that our office has the authority to make these technical changes, but I think it's best to bring it out into a meeting and get your concurrence with these changes.
Transparency.
Yes.
Thanks, Frank. Any questions for Frank? If not, motion or discussion?
I'll make a motion. We adopt the ordinance amending Chapter 1.01, 1.04, 1.08, 1.12, 1.16 of the Murray City Municipal Code, making technical corrections.
I'll second.
Jennifer?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Frank. Thanks, Jennifer. Next is our mayor report. Report of the mayor.
I wasn't in town last Thursday, but I understand Thursday at midnight last night there was a very loud collective sigh as the legislature closed for the year. And we're grateful for all the work that our legislatures did for us. We are very well represented up on the Hill by our senators and representatives, and we're very fortunate for them to have the concerns of our city in their best behalf, and they have really done a great job this last year in doing so. And Dave, you probably saw as well up on the Hill those individuals that work for our city and help us up there, David and Corey and John, who have been up there, and you probably appreciate the work that they've done up there too and know how much work it is. And so we just wanted to express our appreciation to all those that were involved in the legislature this year. We also just want to remind everybody that there's a blood drive this Friday, and it's going to be from noon until 4 o'clock. And if you're interested in participating in that, you just need to get in touch with Jill over in HR, Human Resources, and she'll help you out with that. Our staff also, as you know, continues the implementation of our new software program. They have completed a great deal more training here recently and have increased our functionality in every one of our departments. In fact, in the major department, I think in the next 2 weeks we're going to be going live on everything on there, and it will make us paperless in that particular area. So they've done a tremendous amount of work, and certainly we want to express our appreciation to all of them who have done that. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Any questions for the mayor?
I just want to point out the having the mayor come up on Capitol Hill is very influential, and we are able to recruit our local legislators because of your presence, Mayor. So I want to thank you for the time you spent on Capitol Hill.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Thank you. We are adjourned.